Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Video Games back with another really cool arcade game we figured we would shoot a video of. This is a really old pinball machine today. We figured we'd show off a little bit. We just finished it up. And it's a really cool game, so we figured we'd share it with everyone. This is 1973 here. Really old. So this would predate all but the earliest arcade games, I believe. I think Pong might have came out before that. But in the 70s, people were playing a lot of pinball. And this is a Gottlieb. This is Gottlieb's Jungle Life. Gottlieb was kind of running things in the 70s as far as pinball machines went. And this is an interesting one for a lot of reasons. They had, for a while, what they were doing was they were making multiple versions of the same exact game. So they made this game called Jungle. That was a 4-player game. It's a pretty cool game. Basically, most of the play revolves around these rollover targets here, numbered 1 through 10, and a pop bumper in the middle, and that's kind of the whole thing. But so they made this game called Jungle, and it sold really well. So then they made another one called Wildlife. So there was Jungle, and then Wildlife. Wildlife was the 2-player version. So it's the same game, same cabinet, same everything, except it was a 2-player version instead of a 4-player version. And if you know about working on these electromechanical games, again, this is 1973, in the back box, there's lots of machinery for each reel. So if it's a 4-player, there's tons of stuff in it. Very heavy game. And then, so after they made the 2-player, the 4-player was successful, the 2-player was successful, so then they made their famous Wedgehead version. So they call these Wedgeheads because, as you can see, the head of it is kind of shaped like a wedge. And Gottlieb made, most of their Wedgeheads are 1-player games. And they're a little, so the back box is a little thinner because, again, you don't need as much stuff back there. And it was just kind of a thing that was successful for them, so they did it every time they got an opportunity, basically. They made 2 Wedgehead versions of this same game. Now, again, this is the same game. It's Jungle and it's Wildlife. And then they made one for America called Jungle Time, I think. Something like that. Jungle Time, maybe. And then they made this one, Jungle Life. And from what I understand, this was only made to export overseas. This is what they call an add-a-ball version, ADD, add a ball. And I'll explain that to you here in a minute. Kind of interesting. And it was kind of designed to skirt laws back in the day about gambling. And so this was an add-a-ball version. There was also, though, the American add-a-ball version with a slightly different name, slightly different back glass. On the American add-a-ball version, see how it says balls to play right here? Well, that will light up when you play at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it tells you how many balls you have left. Every time you start a game, you get 5 balls. Well, on the American version, it says Jungle Time, I think it is, up here, Jungle Time. And then down here at the bottom where this says Jungle Life, it said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it said balls to play above it. So on the Gottliebs, you could actually add balls. You could, if you want an extra ball, you can add balls above your 5 balls. So you can see here on the instructions it says minimum 5 balls per play. Now the whole reason for all of that was in some places, I don't know about overseas, but here in America, in some places, it was actually illegal to win a free game while you were playing the game. And so, since this is a single player, really there's not much reason to play it if you can't win something, right? I mean, people want to win something. So on most pinball machines, you know, you could win a free game, and it's kind of exciting to try to get a high enough score where you win a free game, or, you know, hit the special shot where you win a free game. And so back then, you know, it was kind of, pinball machines were, for a long time, just pretty and complicated and electromechanical ways to gamble. And that's just the truth of it. I mean, they were fun and everything, but we look at them today as a lot different than people looked at them then. And again, we're looking at one from the 70s, which is really old, but this would have been the newest thing out, of course, in 1973, and they would have been just a few years removed from games that didn't even have flippers. You know, flippers had only been around maybe, what, 15 years by that point. So that would be like, it's just 2015 right now. That would be like me saying that flippers were invented in the year 2000. I mean, that's no time, really. So anyway, before games had flippers, they were really all about gambling. And of course, the bingo machines that they made, even after the flipper machines came around, were still about gambling. So in a lot of locations, law enforcement saw this as a big problem. Oh man, these people, it's ruining the youth, that they're gambling and winning a free game which cost a dime. Or on this one, check this out. 5 cents for 1 play, 25 cents for 5 plays, 10 cents for 2 plays. So they literally were complaining that people were gambling for a nickel, you know. It's a different time, folks. So anyway, and it was only certain places that were like that. So Gottlieb designed some of these games, and the other companies did too, that they called add-a-ball games. And you could put this in a location that gambling was illegal in, because you could not win a free game on this game. There's no way to win a free game. You could win extra balls. You could add a ball to your game while you were playing it, which, you know, the reason that law enforcement stated, and it's not all law enforcement, just some law enforcement, the reason that they stated that they didn't want people winning credits on the machine, free games on the machine, is because you could theoretically sell the credits. And of course, on the bingo machines, that ones that were straight up gambling machines, people did sell the credits. You could sell it back to the owner, and he would hit a button to knock all the credits off. But on like a regular machine, let's say I won 4 free games or whatever, well, I could sell them to the guy behind me for a dime or whatever. I mean, they literally were complaining about that. But on this game, you win extra balls. Now, in some locations, it was even illegal to put on the game that they had won an extra ball. Think about that. I mean, it's craziness. And, you know, you still see that with some of the laws that are around now. You still see crazy laws, and you think, why in the world are they such sticklers about this law? But back then, they had similar things. So on the card, again, it says minimum 5 balls per play. So the way they did it was, it says balls to play, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, if it would have lit up 6, then that means, oh, you just won something of value. You gambled, right? So the way Gottlieb got around this was down here in the bottom of the art, and you know, all the people that played knew this. You know, if you were into the pinball scene, you would know all about this. But down here at the bottom, they have these 5 little red flowers. And sure enough, if you're playing this game and you win a free ball, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. If you win a free ball, it would light up that little red dot. And so then you would know that you had however many balls to play left, it said 5, or however many it is, and you'd have 1 over here. When your ball ended, instead of the 5 going to 4, the red light would go out and you'd get another ball. Craziness that they had to go through all the trouble to do this, but it's also brilliant that they were able to pull it off. If you think about it, these games are electromechanical. The only thing that they have in them is motors, switches, and coils, and they make everything work with that. So it's actually pretty fun. These add-a-ball games are actually pretty fun, and a lot of people like to play them because, let's say you start the game and it says 5 balls to play. Well, the way you get a free ball is you hit all 10 rollover targets. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And of course, every game would be different, but this is how this one was set up. And so once you do that, it lights up what Gottlieb called their wow feature. Wow, when lit, so it will light up that light. Or over here it says, wow, when lit, so it will light up that light. And that will go back and forth. Either this one will be lit up or that one will be lit up. And only after you've got all 10 rollovers. And the way that goes back and forth is whenever you hit the slingshots for 1 point, or hit that switch for 1 point, or that switch for 1 point, it'll alternate it. So if this one's lit up and you hit that switch, it'll make this one light up. So anyway, while it's lit up, if you hit the target, one of those two around the King of the Jungle there, if you hit either one of those targets while it's lit up, you get an extra ball. And so it lights up that little target, which, you know, pretty cool. And here's the thing that made an add-a-ball game different than any other pinball machine, or any other type of pinball machine. You could win more than one. Whenever you hit that, it didn't go out. It would just stay like that. You could hit it over and over and over again. So if you were good enough, you could win. You could light up all 5 of those flowers. So you could win a total of 25 extra balls on each ball. So whenever, if it said 5 balls per play, or you know what, actually, heck, you could win even more than that, because you could play them down and then win more. So, you know, you could play this for quite a while, because you could have 5 and then these 5 down here lit up. So you could actually have 10 balls still in the machine, and then lose one and then win it back by doing the rollovers again. So again, it's just another interesting way to make a fun game. And you can see up there another interesting thing. The score could get really high because you're doing a lot of stuff here. But once you got up above this, see how it says 15,630 points? Well, you could roll that over, and once you roll it over to 100,000, it lights up this 100,000 point light over here, which is pretty cool. But there you have it. Now, an interesting thing about this particular game, Jungle Life, and I mean this particular one that we're looking at right now, is it's in the wrong cabinet. I'm not sure what cabinet that is, but it's not quite right. If you look at pictures online of Jungle Life and Jungle and Wildlife and Jungle Time, they're all, it's in a different cabinet. Like, it's the same color. It's green and orange, and it has a lot of like kind of swirling art, which kind of looks kind of weird. Kind of looks, I guess they were trying to make it look more like it was in the jungle, so it's supposed to look like bushes or whatever. But the art is wrong on this cabinet. I don't know what game. I don't know if there's 3 things going on. Either one, there's another game with this art, and at some point in time they switched everything out of the original cabinet into this cabinet. That's kind of hard for me to believe, but it could have happened. It's probably actually the simplest answer. Or 2, I've seen other Gottlieb games with this same design, but they were different colors, but it was a different title. So I'm thinking maybe at the maybe they broke the stencil or something one day, or something. You know, the way they painted these was they just held a big stencil up and then painted the orange, and then held another stencil up and painted the green. So maybe one day they broke the stencil, lost the stencil, something, and used the wrong stencil, the artwork for another cabinet. We had a game called Space Orbit that came out the year before, 1972, that had this design on it, but it was red and black. It wasn't orange and green. So maybe they used the wrong stencil, maybe accidentally, or maybe the stencil broke, or it could be that maybe this is a prototype game. I don't know. Maybe this was one of the first ones. You wouldn't think it would be, though, because again, Jungle came out before this one, which used the other artwork, and Jungle was out probably 6 months before this one, and also Wildlife came out before this one. So I'm not sure why it's got the wrong art. Maybe this is just a different, maybe this is the art for another Gottlieb game that I'm not familiar with, and at some point they just swapped it. I've looked around for a serial number on the cabinet, and I couldn't find one, but I'll keep looking. There might be one inside or something, but I don't see one on the outside of the cabinet. Usually they have them kind of punched in. They'll have some numbers punched in, but I don't see any on this one. But I'll keep looking. I'll take it back apart and see if I can find it inside it. So I'll read over the instructions, and then we'll play it a little bit. So, Jungle Life, minimum 5 balls per play. Instructions. Points are scored as indicated. So it means, you know, it tells you all over the playfield what each shot's worth. Rollover buttons score 100 points and advance the bonus value. So whenever you get those, each one you roll over, it'll turn the light out, and then it'll make this bonus ladder start going up. And it can get all the way up to 10,000. Because there's 10 rollovers. Completing the rollovers 1 through 10, and you don't have to do them in order, just all of them. Completing rollovers 1 through 10 lights the wow indicators for the remainder of ball in play. So we talked about that. The wow value is 1 additional ball. Bonus is scored after the completion of ball in play. So whenever the ball drains, it starts counting down your bonus. So it gives you, you know, if you had up to 10, it'll give you 10,000 points. Multi-bonus value, when lit, is 2 times the indicated bonus value. So here it says multi-bonus when lit. And the way you light that is up here at the top. It says, if you go through that middle rollover, it says 1,000 points and lights multi-bonus. And then you've got this pop bumper that's worth 1,000 points each time. Now, if you hit the ball from the bottom up into here, you can see that the ball can't go anywhere. It just bounces around a lot, which gives you a bunch of points. And sometimes it'll ricochet up and hit that from the bottom too. So works out pretty good. And then you got a couple gates. Over here it says gate open when lit. So if you make this little rollover, see how it says opens gate? Well, it opens this little thing, which means that you can't go out the out lane anymore. And you can see that the mechanical action of that opening is what lights up the light. Super cool. All right, so if you roll through there, it will open this gate so that you can't go out the out lane. If the ball bounces down here, you'll either fall back out into the shooter lane or you'll fall into the in lane. And then over here you've got another one. And so this one says opens ball kicker gate. Same thing if you go through that outside rollover there. And it says ball kicker gate open when lit. And so the gate for it is down here. So that opens, which lights the light. And then if the ball falls down, it lands over here in a hole, and there's a little coil in there that'll kick it back out onto the playfield, and usually it goes up into the thing where you get 1,000 points, which, you know, really helps and bounces around a lot. So there you have it. Now this particular game is in pretty nice shape. Actually, check out the playfield. Gottlieb did a great job on the playfield. I'll go over here where you can see the light hit it. Look at that. Didn't touch up anything. We just cleaned and waxed, and of course put new bulbs and new rubbers and everything on it. It's not in mint shape, but this thing is 42 years old. Not bad for 42 years old, especially if it was actually in Italy, like they claim this thing was built for. So I'm wondering if maybe the cabinet thing is, perhaps this was the American cabinet. But again, they had a different Add-A-Ball version for the American market with a different back glass and everything. And it had the other cabinet. So if somebody figures it out for me, go ahead and reply in the comment section below. Oh, and the back glass is also in very nice shape. Usually that red's all faded. This is some of Gottlieb's cool artwork that they did. You got the little half-naked Tarzan guy. You got a lion down here wondering what's going on. You got the little flowers in the bottom. It says Jungle Life. It's kind of a big rip-off of the Disney movie, Jungle Book. You've got a little guy here. There's a rhinoceros. There's an ape. Got a tiger, I guess, back there. You got a snake right here. A little bird there. Another little bird there. All right, so there we go. Okay, I'll set up the tripod and we'll play it a little bit. All right, folks. Pretty good light show. It lights up nice. This is a very clean Wedgehead too. I mean, it's still in pretty nice shape. So I'll play through it a little bit. And again, on this one, pretty much the object is to light up all of the rollovers, which lights up these two wow lights in the middle that'll bounce back and forth. So hopefully I can get it to do that, but maybe not. Who knows? And also, this one's set on 5-ball because that's just how it's set. You can't change it to 3-ball because it's an Add-A-Ball game. Usually whenever I play games, I always set them on 3-ball because it just, if you play a game with 5 balls, usually, in my opinion, it gets a little boring after a while. A lot of people tend to put some of these older ones like this on 5-ball. Because they say that that's how it was sent from the factory. But I don't think they were all like that. I think the way that they used to do it on a regular, not an Add-A-Ball, but on a regular one was they would ship it out, and most locations would put it on 3-ball, and it was a pricing thing. So basically you got 3 balls for a quarter or a dime or whatever. And then I think whenever the game got a little old, they would adjust it and make it where you got 5 balls for the same amount to kind of get people to keep playing it. But I wasn't around back then, so I can't say for sure, but I think that's how it worked. So, but this particular one, you get 5 balls. So here we go. All right, my score reels have reset, and it says 5 balls to play. So that got me my double bonus light at the bottom, which is always good. Or multi-bonus, as they call it. I'd like to get a couple of those good shots too, where you can see how you can hit a bunch of them with one shot. So that got number 1. Ooh. Yeah, like that. I don't think I hit 2 though. I think it skipped 2. But I got it. Okay, so now I got everything on that side. All right. Oh, oh no. A good thing about these though is they set it up, which is, it's brilliant that they were able to figure all this out. And I get, maybe it was easier to do it this way, but they set it up where if you look, my 5 are still out. You might not be able to see it too good on the video just because of the glare and stuff, but my 5 that I hit are still out, even though the ball ended, I'm on the next ball. So now I've only got these 5 to make. But if you get all 10 and it lights up the wow light, you only have it like that for that ball. As soon as the ball drains, it'll reset it for the next ball. Now, how come it didn't reset it for this ball? You know, it's just very well designed. Oh. Well, if it, there's like a sweet spot where if you hit it just right, it doesn't. Come on, there we go. Oh, sometimes it'll fall just right and hit every target on the way down. Oh no! Just playing too many games trying to get a good left shot on it. And you still get the bonus points whenever you roll over one that you've already rolled over, even though it's turned off. You still get 1,000 points on your bonus. All right, 1 ball left. Last ball. Got my double. Cool. Oh, right down the middle. Horrible. Game over. All right, so here we go. All right, everything reset. I got my 1. Yeah, get it. Got a couple. I think I've never done it, but theoretically, you ought to be able to hit it just right and get all 10 with 1 shot. But I personally have never done that, or even seen that. And I don't think you can really backhand it either. I don't think you can hit it up the same side of that the flipper's on. I got both gates open, that helps. Oh, or it would have helped. The gates don't stop it from going down the middle though, unfortunately. Oh, 1 ball left. Ah, it jumped to 8. Come on now. I'm trying to show a feature here. All right, so I got 46,000 that time around. This particular game, you can get a really high score if you're good enough. I mean, you can literally roll it many times in one game. If you were good enough, you can potentially play it forever because you can win free balls on every ball. I was a little better at the skill shot. Maybe you could skill shot it just right to where it hit the arch. Oh, I thought I had it there for a minute. It looked like it was going to do it. it's hard to make that shot slow. Whenever the ball's stopped or rolling real slow, and like this, you can't. It's hard to go wide with it because you just can't. The physics don't work. If the ball's moving fast, you can do it wide because it kind of throws it out a little different. So it's on this game. It's hard to just cradle the ball and then make that shot that you're trying to make. That center shot though you can make pretty easily, and the two wild targets you can probably make pretty easily. I did backhand it back up in that area at least. There we go. That worked well. If I could do it on the other side. Oh, well, it'll hold it. All right, so I've got the 7, the 8, the 9, and the 10 is what I need. Here we go. Yeah! Awesome. So you see the wow lights are on. Horrible. And it reset it on me because it only lasts for that one ball. Horrible. But you did see it kind of do the cool little arc where it'll knock out all 5 of them in one swoop. That's the little kicker that's over there on the left. There we go. Nice shot. And got the double bonus. This is my last ball though, unless I get the unless I win another one. Which might happen. I've got both gates open. I need a nice shot to get all 5 of them. There we go. All right, folks, game over. That is Gottlieb's cool jungle life. Don't see this one too often, but again, there were 3 other versions. Jungle was the 4-player, Wildlife was the 2-player, and then I think the 1-player one earlier I said it was Jungle Time. I think it's actually called Jungle King. But there you go. Cool game. Lights up really nice. Got a great look to it, and it's really fun, really. I mean, but it's, a lot of these EMs were kind of one-trick ponies, so this one's kind of like that. You're just trying to get all the rollover targets. And besides that, there's not much to shoot at except that middle pop bumper if you're just trying to get points, but I'm always trying to play it to win a free ball. So, but there you go. By the time you see this video, we may not even have Jungle Life anymore. We may have already sold it, and maybe it's swung on over to somebody else's home. But you can see all the games that we do have available right now on our website. You can go to lionsarcade.com and check them out. Or you can stop by our shop and see them here in person. We've got them all set up and a whole room full of them at all times. We're in downtown Rock Hill, which is about 15 minutes south. Downtown Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is about 15 minutes south of Charlotte, North Carolina. And like I said, we keep in plenty of these. And if you're not looking to buy a game, or you're not in the area and you're not going to get by, that's fine. Just subscribe to us here on YouTube, and we will be filming many more videos of everything we get in that's cool like this. So we will see you folks on the next video.